Okay, before we get into the review, I just want to say it's an 18 plus game due to the swearing, due to sex. Even though there's never any in any cutscenes, there is like the screen goes blank and you hear stuff. It's basically implied, and also the violence, I suppose, though that could be debatable. But yeah, I just felt like it's worth ever mentioning if I'm ever doing any reviews on any 18 plus games. Yeah, this is a more adult themed game, basically. Anyway, on to the review. Hello and welcome to a retrospective review on the Activision action role-playing game Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines for PC, and discussing is it worth playing 20 plus years after release. I'm going to try my best to avoid spoilers, but if you want to go in completely blind, then I don't even know why you'd even click on this video. But I won't mention in-depth stuff about the story, especially the ending. First of all, it's worth mentioning Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is one of the most buggiest games I've ever played. There is a well-known unofficial patch that I ended up having to install after my game stopped allowing me to continue. And I'm glad I did, because if you look at the gameplay footage, you can kind of tell from when I didn't have the patch installed to when I did. And it almost made it a smoother experience. But there's still times where I still encountered bugs, mainly with getting stuck in places, such as trying to open doors that I have the key for, or having a character call out my name, and you hearing footsteps, but basically I'm stuck, and I think what's supposed to happen is the character was supposed to come towards me, but didn't happen, so I ended up having to basically go back to an old save and cheat my way past that character. But from the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines wiki, I can see it adds a lot more removed content back into the game, such as quests and other things, other unused stuff that are coming back into the game. So I would highly recommend you install the unofficial patch. In fact, I'll probably leave a link in the description. Another thing I would recommend you do when playing the game is doing any side quests. I never got around to doing them, expecting to be able to do so later on in the game, but it ended up getting to a point where I couldn't. And also doing side quests as well as other like main quests will get you experience, which is used to level up your stats such as strength, improving your character's chance in hacking and stealth, etc., which will end up helping you in the main game. So I would recommend, doing the side quests, getting the experience, and then using that to help you progress in the main game. I also think it is worth mentioning that this game is based off of a board game, but I've never played it, and unless you want to take the time to learn about the lore beforehand, no prior knowledge is needed. But if you are interested in the lore, it has a more gothic and inner workings of vampire civilization to it, but that is all to be discovered when playing. When creating your character, there are 7 clans that you can choose from, and from the most part I heard it doesn't make much of a difference to the gameplay, except in Nosferatu, where I hear you spend much more time in the sewers, but every clan will have their own differences. Wise playing, I would recommend having separate save points. The reason being is you don't want to save your game while unknowingly being stuck, such as via glitch, or basically just as you're about to die and having that as your only save. You want to have multiple save points, so say you're about to die, you load up your save, notice you're about to die, you can load up a save before that where you're able to, avoid dying, basically. Music-wise, I love it. It was made by someone called Rick Schafer, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that name right, and I feel like he did a good job. Although, annoyingly, when looking up the soundtrack, I feel like his best piece of music was one of the unused tracks, so that's kind of annoying. And it also does have some licensed music, so it's not all original music composed for the game. Back to complaining about the game, however, it has a very strong start, and it definitely feels like an RPG, but the more you play it, it feels less like that. I enjoy being able to free roam, unlocking more areas after Santa Monica. The fact that there are side quests, meaning you can do more than just the main game. And there's also shopping, but the money you get in the game is hard to come by, and there's a lot of expensive things in the games, so getting money is hard, but spending that money would not be. A lot of people say the ending is rushed, which I guess it kind of makes sense due to the fact that developers only having a strict deadline, despite working on the game for 3 years. And I feel like it definitely does become harder, especially not having good weapons, and some of that could be my fault, but it's so easy to waste your ammo, especially when you don't know what's coming, and you're never sure if it's something's worth saving for later. And I feel like because of this, some of the bosses can be a little bit more time consuming, because you don't know straight away what you're going to go up against. But that is all I'm going to say for now in terms of bosses, because I don't want to give any spoilers. But I would say expect the worst, especially if you're coming near to the end of your playthrough. Whilst the game is very flawed, I definitely enjoyed it. This has become one of my favourite games of all time, and I played it until the credits, so I've completed it. It's not necessarily known to be a long game. It's howlongtobeat.com says 23 hours, but my Steam account says 40 hours, and obviously there's the fact that I might have just left the game running for a bit. But as it's known to not be a long game, it will obviously be in your first playthrough. You're obviously not knowing what you're doing, so it's obviously going to be a lot more longer than, say, when you're replaying it, and you were able to get through the game a lot more quicker. So, in conclusion, if you're looking for an action role-playing game about vampires in Los Angeles, this is your game. Or you could wait until the sequel comes out, that'll be on PC, as well as PlayStation 5 and Series X. The bugs can kind of be off-putting, but there is a command that I've used to fly through doors or to other parts of the map, so if you're interested, I hope this doesn't uninterest you. Also, with the game having multiple clans and endings, if you're someone that loves to replay games, this is definitely for you. This game definitely does have replayability. Which makes it better because the experience and ending that I have is obviously going to be different to the experience and possible ending you're going to have. So I definitely would recommend. So that's all I'm going to say for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. If you play this game, let me know what you think. And if you recommend it to others, let me know. And yeah, it's going to be me for now. So I plan on doing more reviews in the future. But that's going to be it for me for now. I've already just said that. Cheers everyone for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah, see you all later. Goodbye.